Yo, what's good? It's D Scaladayo, and I am here with this UFC 222 analysis and prediction. Overall, this is a pretty underwhelming card as far as pay-per-views goes. Even before Max Holloway dropped out, it wasn't really all that. But these cards that are underwhelming on paper typically turn out to be pretty good. So we'll see how it do. I'll be doing all 5 fights on the main card. Starting with the first fight, we have Kat Zingano. She's coming off hiatus against Caitlin Vieira. This is a pretty important fight, I believe, in this 135-pound division because this women's bantamweight division is pretty meek at the moment. Not a lot of contenders, not a lot of new contenders. So I think if Caitlin Vieira she can get this win, she'll definitely be in line for a title shot. And Kat Zingano, she can really steal that momentum from Caitlin Vieira, and she can be a fight away from a title shot as well. So as far as this matchup goes, both of these fighters are primarily grapplers. I believe on in the stand up, Kat Zingano will have the slight edge. I think, especially in the clinch. I think with her knees and elbows, she can really do some damage in the clinch in this fight. But yeah, grappling wise, I think this fight will be mainly a grappling match. You have Kat Zingano, she comes from that traditional folk style, freestyle type wrestling. You have Caitlin Vieira, she comes from that jiu-jitsu background. Takedown wise, I think in open space, Kat Zingano she will have the better takedowns. I think in the clinch is where Caitlin Vieira really does her best work as far as getting the fight to the ground. I think in this fight, whoever has the top position is gonna win this fight. Whoever can win the takedown battles in this fight can will definitely win this fight. This is a very close matchup, but I think with Kat Zingano's layout, she hasn't fought in about like a year and a half. I think Caitlin Vieira, she's been more active, and I think she'll be more in her groove in this fight. Caitlin Vieira is gonna have the advantage in this fight, so I'm gonna pick Caitlin Vieira in this fight. I'm gonna say by decision. I'm gonna say Caitlin Vieira by decision. I think it might be a close fight. You know, Kanzagano, she is a slow starter. She gets stronger as the fight goes on ahead. And Caitlin Vieira, she's very tough as well. Especially she showed it in her Sarah McMahon fight. She came back from adversity. Yeah, I think this is a close fight, but I'm gonna go with Caitlin Vieira in this fight by decision. All right, the next fight we got is Stefan Struve versus Andre Arlovski. Now, this fight is pretty inconsequential to the division. You know, neither of these guys is really gonna make a title run in this division. They pretty much peaked, so this is one of them fights where it's just a fight. You know. All right, we got Stefan Struve. He's coming off the loss to Alexander Volkov, and you have Andre Arlovski. He's coming off a win to of Junior Albini. Yeah, this is a little bit of a good opportunity for Andre Arlovski. He can move up a little bit in the rankings. I think this fight is gonna be mainly a stand up fight. You have Stefan Struve. He's the tallest person in the UFC, biggest reach in the UFC, but he definitely has trouble using his reach. And you have Andre Arlovski, who has pretty good striking skills himself. I believe in this fight, the main difference is going to be his speed. I think he's going to be much faster than Stefan Struve. He'll be able to get inside and land combos on Stefan Struve. Yeah, I think Stefan Struve, he's to win this fight. I think he's going to need to take the fight to the ground, but he doesn't really have any good wrestling. Andre Arlovski, he has pretty good takedown defense as well. So yeah, I don't think he's gonna be able to take this fight to the ground unless Arlovski decides to take it to the ground. But yeah, in this fight, I think Andre Arlovski, he's the much better striker. Both of these guys, they're not the most durable, so Stefan Struve, he does have a chance to maybe catch Arlovski with something standing. But I just think Arlovski is just a much better skilled, faster striker. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Andre Arlovski in this fight, either by maybe third round TKO or decision. For the next fight, we have a fight with two up and comers. We have Sean O'Malley against Andre Sukumtat. Um, this will be a pretty good striking match. You have Sean O'Malley, very dynamic striker, very fast, very long for this bantamweight division. And you have Andre Sukumtat, who just had a great upset victory in his last fight. Pretty much saved his UFC career with that knockout. So Andre Sukumtai, he's a pretty traditional kickboxer style, very good technique, accurate striker, And Sean O'Malley, he incorporates a lot of footwork, and he likes to use his length. He has deceiving power. If you look at his frame, he has deceiving power for his frame. This is gonna be an interesting striking matchup. I think Sean O'Malley, he'll be faster. I think Sukumtat, he's really gonna have to get Sean O'Malley's timing and his rhythm down. In order to land that sniper shot. I think he can definitely has the power to win this fight. He definitely has the power. It'll be if he can find the timing, of Sean O'Malley. And Sean O'Malley, he can take the fight to the ground if he wants to. He showed in his last fight he's able to take the fight to the ground. I don't see Sukumtat going for any takedowns in this fight. I think with Sukumtat, I think he wants to attack the body early. Sean O'Malley slow him down because he's somebody who uses a lot of movement, and I think he'll definitely be able to catch him more if he definitely establishes work to the body early in this fight. And Sean O'Malley, he's gonna want to use his range. He's gonna want to use his range, use a jab, nice straight punches in this fight, and just be able to use that movement. And I think he'll do well in this fight. For my prediction, I am going to go with Sean O'Malley in this fight. I just think he's gonna be faster. His movement is gonna trouble Sukumtat, I think, in this fight. But Sukumtat, he does have that one shot KO power, so Sean O'Malley definitely has to be wary of that. But I'm gonna go with Sean O'Malley in this fight. I'm gonna say by decision. Andre Sukumtat, he's pretty tough, so I'm gonna go Sean O'Malley by decision in this fight. Now for the co-main event, I think this is a very interesting fight. I wish this fight was 5 rounds. Frankie Edgar versus Brian Ortega, number 2 versus number 3 in the division. Winner of this fight will definitely fight Max Holloway next for the title. We have Frankie Edgar, the veteran. He pretty much only loses championship fights. Those are the only people he loses against. And he had Brian Ortega, undefeated, pretty much a wizard as far as submission go. He's a submission wizard, man. So to break this down, striking wise, I give the slight edge to Frankie Edgar in this fight. I mean, well, as far as striking goes, I give Frankie Edgar the slight advantage. I think he'll be a little faster. His hands will be a little faster. He has pretty good boxing skills, as does Brian Ortega. But I do think Ortega will be a step behind Frankie Edgar. I think Frankie Edgar, his speed will make the difference in the striking. I think he'll be able to get in, land his combos. Brian Ortega is pretty tough. He has pretty good chin, so I don't foresee a knockout on the feet. I think Brian Ortega, he can have success on the feet. He has decent power. And if he catches Frankie Edgar, he can drop him. But we know Frankie Edgar is extremely difficult to finish, especially with strikes. We've seen it countless times. Grappling wise, Frankie Edgar is going to be interesting to see if he implements his wrestling in this fight, because he can definitely get the takedown if he so chooses. But that's a dangerous game playing with Brian Ortega, because Ortega is very dangerous on the ground, very dangerous from any position. Even he showed even in the last fight, even from the clinch, he can grab your neck from the clinch. And someone with a short stature like Frankie Edgar, that's gonna be much easier for him to do, than if he fought someone like Max Holloway. So it's gonna be interesting to see how much grappling Frankie chooses to implement in this fight. I think if he does take him down, I think Ortega will catch him in something. If Frankie can get out or not, that's to be determined. But I think if Frankie really forces the issue with the wrestling, I think Ortega will catch him in a triangle or a guillotine. Yeah, for Ortega to win this fight, I think he wants to. I think he wants to. He wants to keep it in close range, because if you win this fight, I see it by submission. So I think he wants to get in the clinch with Frankie. He wants to be able to grab one of his legs, grab his neck. I think he want to force some grappling exchanges in this fight, even pull guard if he needs to. I think he's that good. As far as his jiu-jitsu goes, I think he's that good where he can pull guard and he can catch Frankie in something. So I think Ortega, he wants to make this a grappling match. I think standing, he's a good boxer. but I think he'll just be a step behind Frankie Edgar with the boxing. For my prediction, I am going to go. It's tough. It's tough. This is extremely tough to call, but I am going to go with Frankie Edgar in this fight. I'm just gonna go with Frankie Edgar. He's the veteran. I think he'll know he'll know the positions to stay out of, and I think he'll be able to uh, outbox Brian Ortega to a unanimous decision. I think Frankie Edgar will know where the danger lies, and he'll avoid those and keep the fight where he knows he's gonna win. So yeah, I'm gonna go Frankie Edgar by decision. But if Brian Ortega catches him in a submission, I would not be surprised at all. Now for the main event, pretty much a squash match. Yana Kuni Katsuya against Chris Cyborg. Yana, she lost to Tanya Everger like 2 fights ago, so this is pretty much a squash match. UFC said we need a title fight. Hey, throw Chris Cyborg and throw a random girl from Invicta on. So yeah, this is pretty much squash match. Cyborg TKO round 2. All right, so yeah, y'all can like, comment,